real-time PvP, save squads, and the rest of Update 4.0 and everything else that went on this week in your Marvel Strike Force weekly news update. And as usual, Khasino, tell them what to do, brother.
Let's get ready to rumble!
ValleyFlyin.
What is up, Valley Maniacs? ValleyFlyin here. I am back. Welcome to your Marvel Strike Force weekly news update. As usual, I am joined by my brother, Khasino. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good. What's going on?
Woo, a lot of stuff going on, man. We had that big, huge anniversary video last week, and it seems like there is a lot that has happened since then, especially with this big update 4.0 dropping. How are you liking this so far?
I mean, I'm liking it a lot. Live PvP was a lot of fun, gave me a lot of content, but yeah, there's because things are so disorganized, there's been a lot of questions that are popping up. Not necessarily problems, but just things where it's like, what does that mean exactly? A lot of that. Yes, and we will get into all of those questions that I know you guys have. But before we get into that, let me just go back a week. 1 year anniversary, big video. We had some really cool stuff, and I think the response was pretty positive. What kind of response have you been getting? What kind of questions, things like that, have you been getting as a response to that 1 year anniversary video? Yeah, the response has been very positive. There's been some smack talk, in particular some smack talk aimed at you that I don't necessarily feel that you deserve. But for the most part, people are really excited. I am actually surprised to say, though, there's a fair amount of people who are taking one of two approaches to that. Again, most people are like, heck yeah, I'm super excited for PvP. But way more people than I thought were like, ugh, PvP, what's the point? If there's no rewards, who cares? Which, like, it's fine to look at it that way. But, you know, if you don't actually enjoy the combat, I don't know. But that's one stance. And then the other one is, and this is like the polar opposite view, is a lot of people looking at it and being like, PvP is fun and all, but if they ever tie rewards to this, I quit. It's like, what? So
it's like a politician. You can't make everybody happy. There's going to be groups that are on one side, there's groups on the other side, and I guess you got a game for people in the middle because yeah, that's how it goes. But I think, sorry, what? No,
just the majority of people like are in favor of PvP and they like it and it's fun. Like the majority response was like, woohoo! But I would have thought, and I think OMG felt the same way, I would have guessed that like 95% of people would be like, heck yeah, live PvP is here. And like, maybe you'd have some people like, I don't really care. There's no rewards. Or like, you know, this could be an issue later on. We'll see, you know, if the devs try to turn this into a money-making thing. But I expect most people to be pretty happy. And while the majority are, I'd say there's like at least like 30% of the player base is against it, either because it doesn't have rewards already or because they're worried that it will have rewards in the future. But there's more opposition to it than I would have thought. It's still
very weird.
Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed. Still very positive response, but yeah.
Well, here's my reaction. The community's been asking for a sandbox mode for so long. This is a sandbox mode because you're playing with your friends. You can be like, all right, don't ban these characters. Let's do a test. And you know, you can take in whatever team against whatever team your friend has. And this sandbox, I would have thought it would be a little more positive, but I've seen mixed responses as well, my friend.
Yep, there are, in terms of Sandbox, and maybe we should talk about this on another section, but in terms of Sandbox, I see a lot of people suggesting, like, maybe this should be how we can test for war, which firstly, Foxx doesn't really want you to be able to test for war, because if you fail a war match and you know your alliance is counting on you, you might be like, all right, let me go buy a war offer and get one more attack. Whereas if you get to practice it 100 times, you won't mess up. They make money off you messing up, whether it's messing up in raid or messing up in war, so they like when you mess up. They don't want to make it too easy for you to never mess up. That's the first thing. But the second thing is people like, just make a mode where you just turns on war buffs. It's like, well, there's more to it than that. There's war buffs, but then it's, all right, are barracks, yes or no? Medbay, yes or no? Armory, yes or no?
Oh, that gets
security,
very complicated. That gets very complicated.
Yes or no? Is it boosted? Is it cargo bay? You know, like all this, you know.
That's like that special dev build that we saw at their offices that we couldn't take out of their offices to use.
Right.
Like
that. Well,
do all that kind of stuff.
They have to have that kind of sandbox mode, but for PvP, it's it would be kind of impractical. And then at the end of the day, too, I mean, they've said they want to do other types of drafts. So we both talked about, I want to see the power balance one, but there's one thing that I do think they really should add, and that is once the teams are set, you should have like 15 to 30 seconds to swap the character's positions. So you can just like move this character to the front, put this one adjacent to that one.
Yes, that I forgot about that. Yeah, the positioning for certain characters are very important.
Right, because like positioning someone on an edge means you'd be forced to like that can mess with your draft. Because if you want someone on an edge, you have to pick them earlier when you need to secure a more valuable character that you actually want in the back or whatever it is. So
I haven't thought of that as good, but
they should.
I'm gonna get to more of your PvP thoughts in just a little while, but I guess the general consensus, chew the news video with revealing some of the things that we did, pretty positive in my opinion overall. All right. Now, we talked about this with the devs while we were doing that interview about the rollbacks to the ability challenges. Pretty hot button issue last week. It has died down because of this response. What do you think of this response? This is one of the scenarios that they were talking about us with, and I think this is the most generous of all of the scenarios that that we were talking about. No correction to progress for the ability enhancements challenge, no rollbacks, and tiers 10, 11, 12 all giving the same rewards. What I mean, I think I know what you're gonna say, but what is your response to this response from the devs?
I mean, I think it was a good people-pleasing move. But for me, this highlights a bit of a bigger issue. I mean, pretty much everyone who looked at this was like, this is great. Like when they told us what they were going to do, I was like, this is great. I don't think this is the absolute most sensible thing that they could have done while also being fair. There was another way to be fair and preserve the intended difficulty curve of the challenges, but so what? At the end of the day, if they're making it so that you don't, everyone gets the same rewards, like this is the crowd pleaser move that ends up rewarding like people who never should have been on the hardest challenge to begin with. This gives them now basically the top tier rewards, even if they're like two tiers behind, which that's going to please most people because that's going to be most people. So, I have no issue with what they've done, but I do want to say this, and it's kind of like a commentary on a bit of a bigger issue, but it's directly tied to this. I've been saying for a while, if you want to get the devs to do something, you're never going to get an effective spending strike because it's too risky. As a whale, if you go all in on a spending strike and every other whale doesn't also, you fall behind and it impacts your ability to be competitive with the other Krakens and yada yada. That's always a messy route to go. And there's just always going to be those opportunist people who are like, this is my chance. I'll buy when they're not.
I'm right there with you. I don't consider myself a whale, but I missed out on Cyclops, Symbiote, Spider-Man, and I'm really playing catch up with those right now. So
right, you got.
I feel how you guys feel out there.
So I've been saying for a while, the effective way to get Foxnext's attention, make them do something, is with reviews. If you give them bad reviews, it makes their app less likely to show up to new people. Like it really, really hampers them. So I don't know how much of this is a result of Reddit throwing a temper tantrum, rightly so. Like the fact that they caved on it, it's like obviously it was justified. People are upset, but I don't know how much of this is a result of Reddit being angry and how much of it is a result of the review bombing, so to speak. And it wasn't like the most widespread review bombing, but you started seeing threads pop up like, all right, let's go give them 1-star reviews. And it didn't take long after that for this to get fixed. But so the comment I want to make is, I think that does speak to how effective that is as a way of voicing your opinion. But, and let me be very clear on this, with great power with Uniline, with great power comes great responsibility.
I know.
But it's not, I cannot stress this enough. Do not start to think that anytime they do anything you don't like that's it, 1-star rating. Because if you're constantly doing 1-star rating, or you don't even switch your rating because you're like waiting for like, well, yeah, they fixed the one thing I was mad about, but when are they going to fix this and this and this? It loses power because they'll just start to always account for you being a 1-star rating. So if you want your 1-star rating to matter, you have to most of the time be no rating or a 4-star rating or something like that, so that it actually is impactful. So if there's like one thing you're really mad about, you can speak to that with ratings, but not like, oh, these new event orbs are even worse than the last one, 1-star rating. Like you can't, if you do it for everything, you're doing it for nothing. So
yeah, I don't think this on its own was enough for like a review bomb or a spending strike calling for that. But I think just perception is very important. And did they need to do all this, make it like this, make it this generous? Not really, but perception is very important. So in a vacuum, this wasn't that serious of an issue. You know, it's a bug. They roll it back. But when you take into account some other things that were going on in the game, the shells, the blitz bots, the lack of save squads until today, we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But yes, some other things in the game that just weren't addressed. This was addressed so properly. I think it was just as promptly, excuse me, as this. I think it was just a matter of perception. It was like, why are you focused on this? But yeah, I don't think they could have done a better response. This is awesome. And we did get a blog post a few days after this, and oh, look at that! It's the first ever real-time PvP matchup, and we got Taskmaster's Kit. Now he did come to the game, so let's go look at Taskmaster in the game. What are your thoughts on Taskmaster? Is he what you thought he was gonna be? The guy that brings these mercs together, kind of like Miss Marvel does with the hero brawlers, or is he just kind of a random character?
No, Taskmaster's doing great. I got my team decently powered up. I've already got level 70, I believe, 4 gold, 4 red on Taskmaster.
Oh my goodness!
I already T4'd a couple of his abilities, and he's not like insanely strong, but it kind of worked out because most of my mercenaries were like around that 40 to 50k power mark. So
got it.
Yeah, I was able to throw the team together, which we'll talk about because tons of people have questions about what the team is, which we're mostly sure, but there's some options for sure. But yeah, I'm really happy with him. He in particular is doing great. I mean, his assists are awesome. His multi-target blind is really, really great. He gets to use that right away. Yeah, I've been pretty happy with him. He does a good job, you know, in terms of survival with the blocking. So yeah, I've been happy with him.
I've used him a little bit as well, and I'm pretty happy with this character as well. I think he does bring that team together a little bit. A little disappointed with the Merc rework, which we will get to. But let's talk about Taskmaster's event, the Covert trait event. Is it even in the game? It's not even in the game yet, but let's go into game and see who has this Covert tag. So if you're kind of a mid-level player, maybe a newer player, you could kind of plan for this event, which characters you would be wanting to take in. Any characters stand out to you as far as this Covert trait? There's a lot of them. Oh my goodness, look at this.
Yeah, I mean, there's
a lot of good characters
worse ones. Yeah, there are.
Yo-Yo, Nick Fury.
Yep, Yo-Yo, Nick Fury, Coulson.
Minerva's there.
Yep, Minerva. So yeah, there are a lot of good options. I don't know if we said Loki. I quite like Loki, but yeah, yeah, there's a lot of good options there. But you know, it depends on what people have in their roster.
I'm looking for this event. As you can see, I need a little more stars on my Taskmaster. Princess and the Symbiote event looks like it is coming back, which means that your favorite character, your 7-star character, the legendary Shuri, looks like she has an event right around the corner, my friend. For some of the newer players that don't have Shuri yet or are trying to get her to the next R level, how hard should they be going on these symbiote characters or the Sinister Six, whatever, to get these characters to get Shuri up to the next level or to unlock her?
Well, there's a couple things on that. I mean, firstly, the 3 symbiote characters are amazing. Venom, Carnage, Symbiote, Spider-Man. That trio is just incredible. They alone as a 3-piece kind of elevate that team of 5 to like arguably a top 5 team in the game. They're just so good. So they're worth investing in as it is. But then Shuri herself, she's incredible. A lot of people, when they looked at the most recent tier list, were wondering why she isn't marked as raid essential. And she might. I've been going back and forth on whether or not she deserves that raid essential. Sometimes I'm using her for the very, very final nodes in Ultima 7, and sometimes I'm not, but she's really, really good. And I mean, she was already just super solid. She is like 50% of the reason why the Wakandan team is what they are. She like carries the heck out of that team, and with the changes to Killmonger, which we'll talk about, that team got even better. But at the end of the day, we just found out that she's actually a really, really good option for PvP specifically, because there's a big shortage of characters that can get defense up onto your entire team right away before really anyone can act. It's basically her and Nick Fury, I think, and that's it for characters that get defense up before really anyone gets to attack.
So is this as a result of our battle and just kicking my butt with your Shuri, yeah, or is this as a result of some other PvP battles that you've done since then?
Yeah, no, I was doing a lot on stream, and a good amount of people were trying to build teams for like, all right, I got to blow someone up right away, and then start thinking about like, all right, well, how many things can I put in the way here? And really, again, I think all we came up with in terms of defense up getting in the way was Shuri and Nick Fury. They got the speed up on spawn to get in there.
Interesting. Interesting. Very sounds like a very valuable character. If PvP is going to be your mode, you might want to really heavily invest in Shuri. Now, Shuri is required for that Wakandan event, that Chaos Theory event that we had the first iteration of late last week. Only got to do tiers 1, 2, and 3. What are your thoughts on this event? Was it enough, do you think, silver promotion credits for you?
I mean, not the first 3 tiers. Like, it was fine. It's more than I was getting before, so I was happy to get them. But I'm looking forward to doing the higher tiers next time.
So am I, my friend. So am I. Yeah. And hopefully they keep giving us some influx of these silver promotion credits, because if it's just from that Wakandan event, just from that Chaos Theory event once a month, and then from our dailies, I just don't think it's enough silver promotion credits. So hopefully they keep finding bugs and things to break in the game that they can reward us with these silver promotion credits. Then I will be very happy with this whole Red Star rework.
Yeah, you and me both.
All right. Corvus Glaive had his first Blitz, and the scores were out of control. 23 million for that top 2,000. Little over your predictions. What did you guys take a beating on this one after the Corvus Glaive blitzes?
We did.
Scores came in.
We did. It was weird. Like, this very rarely happens, but we were just off in weird ways. Like, I want to say like 1 to 2% and 3 to 5%. We were low. We had a bunch of people being like, "Hey, I did what you recommended for 3 to 5%, and I ended up in 1 to 2%. Like, you guys were way off. You should have gone much lower than you did." But then when it got to like top 2,000, top 100, top 2,000, we were off by a couple million, which is never good. But at the end of the day, it's not the farthest off. But we try to be more accurate than that. But this one was pretty contested. Top 100, we just completely dropped the ball. We were like 10 million off or something absurd from top 100. We could not believe how off we were. And then we bullseyed rank 1. Like, it was very, we were just kind of scratching our heads like, what happened here? But yeah, so, as with the predictions, Foxnex likes changing things up. People's rosters have gotten, the power curve has been tweaked in interesting ways. And so, yeah, we take the new data and we factor it in, and we do what we can going forward. So we weren't terribly off, but we could do better.
So I guess the next question that I have to ask, because everybody is going to be wondering, how much of this do you think was Blitz bots? Because we've had a few changes to Blitz with the way that was scoring, so it allowed us to get more points for that. We had that Red Star rework, gave all of our characters more power, which meant that our opposing team's getting more power, which means we're able to score more. How much a factor do you think that was, and how widespread do you think Blitz botting became in some of these scores that we're seeing right now?
Again, I don't. So there's undeniably Blitz bots happening. I'm sure there'll be people who'll be quick to be like, oh, of course, Khasino downplays the problem, typical Foxnex shill, blah, blah, blah. But for starters, like, I'm quite against Blitz botting myself. And it's definitely happening. It's definitely a problem. It is definitely costing people spots more at the top end. However, in terms of like how widespread of a problem it actually is, the first thing is, it's definitely more of an issue at the top. Like, if you're going to blitz bot at all, let's just say you're like a 3 million power roster. If you're going to blitz bot, you can probably hit like top 2,000 without too much trouble. If you're just going to blitz round the clock. Well, blitzing round the clock is a huge advantage. It's an extra 8 hours of blitzing like every night for 3 days straight. It's quite a big advantage. But so I imagine that it's most of a problem at the top. So like if you weren't already close to top 2,000, it's probably not affecting you much. If you were 1 to 2% or 3 to 5%, it's probably unchanged. As for like the total amount of people doing it, again, there are definitely people doing it, but because the jury's still out on what action the devs are going to take, are people going to get banned or things like that, to score really, really high, you have to have a high enough TCP. My guess would be you'd have to be at least like 5 million TCP to score top 100. Even with a blitz bot, I think you'd be hard pressed to do that without, I'm just ballparking, but like 5 mil TCP. And while there are certainly some free-to-play players who are right around there, we're talking like day one launch free-to-play players, there aren't a drastic amount of those. It's mostly people who've spent are closer to 5 mil and up, and people who spent, especially the more they've spent, the less comfortable they are with blitz botting, because no one wants to have spent, you know, multiple years and thousands of dollars and then be like, oh, I placed high in those last few blitzes and now I'll never play again. So, right, it's a risk that not many are actually willing to take. So I do think it's happening, and there's no way to know the exact amount. I would estimate it at, like, if we're getting crazy, like 5% of the upper tier blitz population using it, is my, based on just kind of what I've seen and observed. And I know a lot of the top guys, a lot of the people who regularly place in the top 100, people who always place in the top 2000, and I know that they're all doing it legit. You know, they'll check in with me, like, where are you at? Here's where I'm at. And, you know, I you know, like, we talk to each other while people are blitzing. Like, I know they're doing it sincerely. And it's not like they have like crazy jumps overnight where I'm like, how'd you do that? Where was I? So it's plenty of people are scoring it legit, but other people are saying like, oh, well, it does have, you know, this one guy said he has like 1,000 downloads on it or something. So maybe.
Yeah, I see those ads pop up a lot on all of our channels, and you know, they're spending money for that. So obviously they're making money if they're spending money to be advertising. So I really don't know. Before we move on though, let me just ask you a personal question. How'd you score in this blitz? What'd you get?
I did get top 2000, 24.2 mil.
I was short of it. Based on your predictions, I was short of it. I missed like the whole day. The whole first night, I was like, you know what? I think I could still hit it even with this. And I just kind of based it on getting like right above your score. So yeah, I'm gonna be going harder a little more.
I was like ranked,
and you got a good opening rotation.
I wanted to blow away my predictions. Like, even though I was thinking about stopping, but then I was like, I have like half a day free. I don't care about the next blitz. I think it was like Deadpool or something, which is where we're at now. Yeah. So it's like, I can just go for broke. Let me just, you know, push a few more. And I got lucky. I pushed to like 24 mil and I barely made it.
Ooh,
I thought I was like,
close, my friend.
I didn't think I was cutting it close at all.
I thought I was good. I thought I was at like 22, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm about 1 million above the predictions. I should be good, but this was a rough one. Yeah,
but what I like, and I never want the predictions to be inaccurate and misleading, and have the people who follow them not get the shards that they're after. But I do enjoy these weeks where I don't have to listen to the people saying, you're driving up the blitz scores. Like, oh really? I said 21. No. Everyone did almost 24. Like, that wasn't me.
All right, in other news, looks like Need a Hand is coming back this week. So ABCs, I need a lot of those. Should people be farming their hand just for this event, or just bring in whatever they have?
Yeah, I mean, passively farming them. Like, ABCs are great to have. Every new character is going to need them. Like, it is worth it, but it's always a matter of priority. Like, at the end of the day, when the question is like, should I power up this character? Yes. No matter who it is, yes. Should I power up Ravager Stitcher? Yes. Why? Strong Ravager Stitcher better than weak Ravager Stitcher. Whether for Blitz or for War, strong better than weak. It really, the question is, should I power up this character instead of someone else? And you know, for that, I kind of have to have like seen someone's roster. Now, again, with someone like Ravager Stitcher, it's like the likelihood that Ravager Stitcher is who you should be worried about right now. Probably not. You probably have some better priorities. But yeah, you know, you kind of have to identify for yourself like where your weaknesses are. So the hand are a crew where most people are not in a position where they need to be worrying about the hand. And with how infrequently this event comes along, you can work on other teams and get almost as many, you know, ABCs. And if you really want, you can work on your mercenaries, which it makes more sense to work on now anyway, because they're a more competent team, and you'll get higher in the payday, and with more gold, you can get more ABCs.
All right, and we are finally here. Update 4.0 release notes. A lot of stuff happening, and there's some confusing things. We're going to go over this, but the first thing I want to talk about is right here. Enhance your squad with 3 new playable characters. Ebony Maw, Taskmaster, not Cull Obsidian, Ironheart. That was a big surprise to me. What did you think when you saw that?
I thought, there's probably some miscommunication going on Fox Next End. But,
yes, because in the very sentence before, they talk about empowered Thanos is coming over the course of this release. Of course, he can't get empowered without Cull Obsidian, but if Ironheart is a character, then one of these lines don't make sense. One of these lines is wrong. Either 4 new playable characters with Cull and Ironheart and getting empowered Thanos, or We're not seeing empowered Thanos this event. What do you think? What do you think is this? What do you think is happening with this?
Let me give them the most generous loophole of all time.
All right.
Did you do the Proxima campaign last patch?
Yes.
Did you get to play as Cull Obsidian?
Oh my goodness. Well, so they gave us more last time, unannounced. Cull Obsidian was there, so yes, he's all right. I get what you're saying.
Him. He's not a new playable character.
Okay,
You didn't play as Ebony Maw or Taskmaster or Ironheart.
All right.
That's
well, Red Skull wouldn't count as a new character because we were using him before, right?
Sort of. We were cloning him. We were never actually.
Okay.
And then I think there's a stage where you had like Red Skull Operator, which is technically different, but I get what you're saying. And again, you're trying to make consistent internal logic of an area where I'm sure there wasn't consistent internal logic. But here's what I imagine happened. This whole patch cycle has been chaos for them. They originally wanted all of the Black Order in one patch. The fact that Cull was in the previous Proxima event campaign is proof that they were counting on doing Cull Obsidian last patch at some point. It obviously got moved, but they wouldn't like make him playable in there and then be like, JK coming in 3 patches or whatever. You know what I mean? Like they wanted him originally to be part of that patch. So when they were thinking this, like internally, for all intents and purposes, Cull has been done for them. Like, yes, they have to actually push like open his Blitz up, but you know, they've done all the content that they wanted to do for him, and it's just a matter of actually turning it loose for us. But yeah, so that's all I can give them is that they probably meant 4, and I think that's where the miscommunication is. I think we're getting 4 characters.
Okay, 4. Okay, so your prediction is Cull Obsidian is coming, and we will see Empowered Thanos this patch.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be really weird to have the Ebony Maw patch not come with Empowered Thanos.
You could use this legendary character to almost get Thanos empowered, but not really.
Now, I highly doubt they'll do this, but can I pitch to you a nightmare scenario where I just want to watch the anguish roll across your face? How would you feel? And again, there's no reason to assume they'll do this, but how would you feel if they announced, all right, next week, we're going to have 2 simultaneous blitzes, Ironheart and Cull Obsidian. Good luck.
Jeez.
I really...
It'd be horrible. I know you've been pitching 2 simultaneous blitzes for a while.
That's not what I meant.
But not like this.
No, that's not what I meant.
This.
And it's absolutely not what I meant. I hope they don't do that, and I certainly hope they don't do that and go, thanks for the great idea, Khasino.
No, please don't do it.
I don't think they will, but just you know...
One more, Black Order or Power Armor? Choose.
You gotta go Black Order.
Give a resource management, including time.
Yeah, I don't know. I doubt they'll do that, but no. I think they just meant to release Cull last patch, and so now they're just gonna be like, all right, so we'll do multiple Blitz releases. Like Ironheart and Cull have both been data mined to be blitzes, so it's just gonna be like, all right, run the Ironheart blitzes, and then as soon as the Ironheart blitzes are done, run the Cull blitzes, or vice versa. Who knows who will come first? Cull will probably come first. If I had to guess, I think Cull will come first. And the thing is, there is the time for it because Ebony Maw, although Ebony Maw is a playable character, he's a legendary. So it's like there's not like extra time. It's not like in the previous patch. Who are the characters in the previous patch?
Proxima. Corvus. I don't. Was it Red Skull? Was it Red Skull?
I think so. Maybe there were only 2. So maybe it's a bad example. But my point is, they usually have like dedicated blocks of like 2 weeks of time, roughly. I'm just ballparking it, but you know, whatever, 1.5 weeks to 2 weeks of time for a new character. And so having you know, the Taskmaster event campaign, that's his block. Having Ironheart's Blitz, that's her block. But Ebony doesn't really need a block. He's a legendary. He just kind of shows up and you do his event and then you're done. You know, maybe some people are like farming till the very end and they do it on the last day, but it's not, they're not like doing his, you know, they're not like playing it over and over before then. So it's, yeah, you know, I think they had room for a 3rd character to actually take up some time. And that's probably Cull is the 3rd block.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Maybe Ironheart's at the end of this patch, the very end of this patch. Maybe you could buy Ironheart's offer at the end of this patch, and they're counting her in this patch, and then she actually will be released for free-to-play players in the next patch. I don't know, because I've done that kind of stuff before.
That's my prediction.
As far as Well, we'll see what happens. Raid difficulty selector. Now, this was a question that you did talk to devs about. They did not give the accurate answer. It had to be corrected afterwards, and I did not talk about this. But what is your reaction to this raid difficulty selector, Ultimus, what is that, 6 and 7, that you could just switch?
Yep, I mean, it's definitely a good thing, right? It's more control to the players, but we still need to see the numbers. We need to see how much harder or easier it is, and then what do the rewards justify? Is it going to make more sense to 100% an easier one or 60% a harder one? And more importantly, what's it going to mean for raid season? So we're just going to have to see the numbers behind it and actually do the math. But at the end of the day, assuming that it's sensible numbers, which is, you hope, you know, they got that right, then giving alliances an opportunity to work their way up and 100% the difficulties that they can and want to is, yeah, more control to the players, and it sounds good to me.
All right, another thing of this update, all summon characters have been updated to benefit from the Summoner's Red Star and Stark Tech boosts. Did Kingpin and Nobu just get a buff here?
Absolutely.
Nice. Yeah, I guess that 6-star Kingpin is not as useless as it once was. Right?
Yondu, Nick Fury, pretty much every summoner got a boost, and then this was a weird one I didn't realize, but in an odd way, Ultron got a roundabout improvement. I don't know if you can call it I guess Mr. Sinister is really the big winner here, which is when Mr. Sinister clones an Ultron, he creates an Ultron with red stars. But the cloned Ultron with red stars now has red star Ultron bots. So Sinister's Ultron clone is now quite a bit scarier. Which
You're going like Inception here with levels upon levels upon levels.
I know, we're going deep, but my 6 red star Sinister cloned an Ultron in PvP earlier, and those bots were smacking people for like 50k basics.
Man.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I look forward to trying. I think it will have to be PvP. I don't know where that scenario would come up in Arena, because I think it makes no sense to go with Phoenix.
You could like take Mr. Sinister into Dark Dimension 2 and clone an Ultron. I know very few people will be in that position, but you know, it's a thing that can happen. There's some PvE nodes in the campaigns with Ultron on it. It's not super practical, but it's a thing that can happen, and it should become more common. You can do it in war. So
big thing. In addition to Taskmaster, real-time PvP, and Save Squatch, which we will get to, we got some updates. We got some reworked characters. My first reaction is, what about Sniper? What about Soldier? And it looks like Sniper got a little bit that we didn't initially get, but let's talk about these updated characters. Anyone out of the bat really impress you?
Yes. Well, so I mean, Merc Lieutenant and Merc Riotguard were already pretty good, and I quite like both of their changes. Both their changes are really nice. But what's interesting is, I think they did a good job with this team of, firstly, like a good amount of the power lies with Taskmaster, which is good. He really kind of ties them together. But yeah, they didn't make significant changes to the individual characters per se, but the utility that they provided still makes it work. And I'll give you a perfect example is like Merc Lieutenant with every basic is giving out ability energy, and he's getting a lot more turns because anytime someone drops below 50%, he gains 40% speed bar. So he is taking a lot of turns, and every basic he's filling their energy. So like just by default, like while they didn't change Mercenary Sniper significantly, Mercenary Sniper is now going to use their special like almost every single turn, which is a weird roundabout buff to Sniper, where it's like Sniper is now going to do tons of damage, even though it wasn't really a change to Sniper. So that happened for several people, where like the way other people manipulate them, they're more valuable. So it's a confusing rework at first glance. It looks like they didn't really touch anyone, and the other thing though is it does pay to leave certain characters kind of crappy. Like there have to be some crappy characters, and like Mercenary Soldier is like the ultimate crap character. Like he's just a faceless guy that someone hired to just show up and get in a shootout. Like you don't want him getting crazy good. Like I get it for people with high red stars in those characters and people who are fans of the Mercenary faction wanting all the characters good, but I kind of understand it. It's the one that confuses me is Killmonger.
All right, I was gonna get to that. The Bullseye and the Killmonger. Bullseye seems a little weak. Killmonger seems like it benefits Wakandans more than this Merc team, in my opinion.
It does, and we'll talk about that. But so Bullseye, I want to address Bullseye real quick. Bullseye is the same situation as Sniper. Like, Bullseye's issue has always been that he has no survivability, so he just dies, and it takes him until turn 4 to ult, at which point it's too late. It's over. It doesn't matter. The match is over. Thanks for nothing, Bullseye. Now you have two things going. Firstly, Bullseye, at least on his own team, has way better survivability because Merc Riotguard can literally turn 1 Merc Riotguard, taunt and defense up. What does Merc Riotguard do on his second turn? Well, he got energy from Merc Lieutenant, so he's going to taunt and defense up. So there's a lot of people not hitting Bullseye going on. So Bullseye's survivability went up just because of the people around him. And then turn 4 ult, not so much of an issue because every time Merc Lieutenant basics, he gets energy. I had a turn 2 Bullseye ult in a Blitz match earlier, and that I'm using literally a gear tier 8 Bullseye in 8.3 of Blitz. He did 111,000 damage with his ult. Crit Hulk in the mouth, dropped him from over 50% to dead. Like, Bullseye does hurt. He just never lived long enough and took too long to do anything. But both of those things were kind of taken care of for him. So again, it's a weird rework, but so
really what you're saying, Bullseye's rework is Merc Lieutenant.
Yeah, basically they made Merc Lieutenant and Merc Riotguard and Taskmaster awesome. And now you can just kind of show up and be a mercenary and it's all going to work out.
Gotcha. All right, let's move on to this guy because you did mention Killmonger. I thought this was better for him on the Wakandan team. Are you going to be using him on this Merc team, or is he going to be on your Wakandan team or wherever you're using him now? Interesting
question. So, firstly, it is like that is a huge improvement to the Wakandan team. And it's actually not just, I mean, it is a significant damage improvement. He went from, on the Wakandan team, 0% chance to counterattack anywhere but raid to 100% chance to counterattack everywhere. That's a lot more damage. But it also helps his survivability because he heals off the damage he does. So anytime he gets hit, depending on who he's hitting and if he gets a crit and if he has offense up and things like that, he can be getting hit and walking away with more health than before he got hit. So his survivability is going up. And even if it's not, just putting out that much extra damage is great. So that's a great buff for the Wakandans. So for things like Blitz, I'm probably going to keep him on the Wakandans unless we get more Wakandans. For War Defense, I'm kind of torn. Like, he will do great on that team on War Defense. There's no question about it because Merc Riotguard is going to defense up just about every turn. And when he gets defense up, he attacks the lowest health target. And in addition, he's going to get a lot of assists coming in, and he's going to get extra damage and all that good stuff. So he will do great on that team. I will probably have him on there for War Defense. And the beauty of the Wakandan team is that even without him, the Wakandan team is still 4 characters that get to go before anyone else on the enemy team. So if you have a 5th fast character, you can still kind of use them as the team that focuses one target out real quick and then just kind of wins the 5v4 because they also have defense up and sustain and things like that. So I will probably split them up for War, and I probably will keep him with Wakandans for Blitz. That's where I'm leaning now. But that does open up the question everyone's been asking, who's your 5th mercenary for Blitz? And if you do decide to keep Killmonger on Wakandans, like, who's the 5th mercenary for War? So there are some options here. A lot of people are looking at Korath. Now, Korath is an essential member of a team that almost no one can run, which is the Ultimus Kree team. Korath is a massive part of that team. If you are running the Ultimus Kree team, you can't take Korath off that team. Most people can just put Korath on. It'll be fine. He'll do great damage. If you're feeding him energy, he's a villain. He's a mercenary. He'll do awesome on that team. Every basic, he'll slow. He's got ability block, heal block. He's just great. So yeah, Korath, excellent option. But not for me and people running the Ultimus team. Your next option, Deadpool, is a bit of a free floater. You don't need him on the Hero Brawler team. He's not a villain mercenary, but he's still a mercenary. He gets about half the perks, and he's a great character. You can run him as well. If the rumors are to be believed about upcoming X-Force characters, then that would be short-lived as well. My pick for the 5th character that I've been running and I've been very happy with is Kingpin. And Kingpin is, Kingpin is not a perfect option because a lot of what he does is redundant. The defense up maybe affects like one person because Merc Riot Guard gets defense ups out to people. The offense ups are kind of redundant because Merc Lieutenant is giving people a lot of offense ups, but giving Kingpin speed up for Merc Lieutenant is good for him. And he is not a mercenary, so he takes away from some of the perks of having a mercenary, but he summons mercenaries, and those mercenaries now get his red stars, so he comes with a few benefits. The first is he's hard to kill, and when you, like, even with the added protection, Merc Lieutenant, Bullseye, these are still characters that can just kind of get taken out. So having another body on the field that if, you know, several attacks get lobbed their way, they're going to be fine, is good. So I like him for the survivability. And his passive is awesome. He calls a lot of assists and they double up. So what I was seeing happen is Kingpin would call an assist and Taskmaster would jump in. So like even on like the Kingpin summon, I was like opening with the Kingpin summon. And the Kingpin summon, who now has his red stars, at least shoots for like an amount of damage you can see. That's a remarkable improvement over, you know, their cotton ball guns they were using last patch. And so they're hitting, and then Kingpin's calling another villain assist, so someone else like Bullseye jumps in with a good assist. Then you also have Taskmaster jumping in with his assist, and you're getting 3 attacks out of it. And this happens constantly, like on every villain turn, which is the whole team. There's always a chance for just double assist, and you start getting tons and tons of passive damage building up. And when he has everyone with offense up, it's excellent offense uptime on all those assists and stuff. So Kingpin is probably not the perfect pick, but he's doing plenty well. I'm happy with him.
Yeah, I get what you're saying when you're using him. The AI, though, will open with that ultimate, which is, like you said, kind of redundant with Merc Riot Guard and Merc Lieutenant, right? So, which means his mercenaries won't be till the second turn in this, in the AI running on defense scenario, which is kind of where this team is meant to be used.
Again, I'm not so sure. I want to see more about their war defense to see how effective they are. But here's the thing. He is 2 opening abilities that are non-attack abilities. And there's, I believe...
Forgot about that. Yep.
Taskmaster and Bullseye will both double attack on those abilities. So you're getting good damage out of it. That's good. Then... where's I going with this? In war, it's more likely that someone is trying to dispel or remove. So like Merc Riot Guard might throw the defense up and the taunt up. You know, I gotta break this. Let me dispel. As soon as you dispel, Kingpin's like, nope, it's here to stay, man.
All right, so maybe that double up is good. Maybe it will be.
It's not the worst. Again, I'm not saying as of today like Kingpin's the 5th and that's that. We'll see, but he's not a bad option, and the team won some very impressive matchups I did not expect them to win. In 8.3 of Blitz, they went undefeated already with Kingpin as the 5th, so I was pretty happy with them.
You got to run them on auto to see how the AI would play on war defense.
Well, that's true, but in 8, first off, they're missing like some really good perks they get on war defense, and also in 8.3, you're punching up like 180k. Like if people want to do 180k punch down on my mercenaries in war, have the win, man.
All right, big thing here, at least for me, more save squads. They said more than 5 in our interview. They gave us 10, which we still need more, but this is good. This is very good. Any step with more save squads is in the right direction, in my opinion. What are you? What are your thoughts of this? Finally coming to game, more save squads. We could make teams for multiple game modes.
What is there to say, man? This was excellent news. Again, I still, like everyone else, I want to see tabs by game mode, and I want to see 30 more save squad slots. But this is a terrific reprieve. I'm very happy with it.
Yes. Anytime they give us more save squads, that's always a big thumbs up in my opinion. Yeah,
that alone is like, all right, if you were giving them a 1-star rating, might be time to maybe go up to like a 3 or something. Like
just save squads and what we're going to talk about next. But yeah, I think this is a good update.
Now, for the record,
we haven't got to the bugs yet either, though. So.
No. And there's always I totally understand that people are going to be like, I'm not going to give them a round of applause for something they should have done 10 months ago. Like, I get it, but
yeah, they should have done it 10 months ago, but they've finally done it. So.
Yeah. It doesn't. It's not the best kind of encouragement if you finally come around to it, and then everyone's like, "Finally, God." You know?
Yeah, you still get this 1 star.
Have
You didn't do
yeah.
it soon enough.
Yeah, no, have the pat on the back. We want to send the right message. Like the way I think about it is, we want our actions to like training a puppy. Like, of course, the puppy shouldn't be peeing on the floor at all, but when the puppy does pee outside, you celebrate it. You do. You're like, great work.
That is a funny analogy.
I'm literally, we got a pandemic puppy. I'm raising a puppy. People have been in my live stream and seen him. I got a Siberian Husky puppy. It's on the brain, man.
Nice. All right, and big one here, in my opinion, new game mode, real-time PvP. We got a little glimpse of it last week. It is out today. You've obviously tried it a few times in the game. I've tried it a few times. What are your thoughts on this game mode now that you could actually control your own roster and not have to do it through proxy?
It's great. I really enjoy it. There's plenty of good things to say about it, but I really, really am enjoying it. It's fun. I've learned a couple things already from playing the match. Like there were a couple different matchups where I was realizing, like, after the fact, like, wow, I had to see this to believe it. Like I know the damage numbers, but I don't remember every damage stat for every character off the top of my head. And some of the things I've been seeing are like, wow, before that happened, I would never have guessed that would happen. So that's fascinating. I'll give you a couple examples from some highlights. I have a 6 red star gear tier 14 Minerva, and I gave her a full invisible woman barrier. And so she's got, 40% of her, well, I guess 30% of her max health as barrier, and she's at full health. A 6 red star gear tier 14 Black Bolt. Hit her with a special. She died. She just died. And before someone, because there's going to be people in the comments who are like, with barrier, it makes his passive proc twice. That is true, but it didn't have to. He killed her on the first passive proc, and again, there's gonna be people like, that's good, she's villain tech, the passive does more. Even that didn't matter. She was like 5% health before his passive proc. She was dead and overkilled from full health with full barrier, a 6 red star full health Minerva. I can look up the numbers and tell you why that makes sense, but I wouldn't have guessed it. Just eyeballing it, I wouldn't have guessed it. I also had a full health Hela. Full health. Get straight up one shot by a 6 red star gear tier 14 aim monstrosity special.
Oh, nice.
He just went bam, and she flew off the screen. The end. Gear tier 14.
That is a very strong character.
Unbelievable.
That is a very strong character.
Down or anything. It just went flying. So I'm seeing certain things, and I'm like, wow. Like, I do a pretty good job of keeping the damage numbers in my head and whatnot, but you know what I mean? Like, I was not expecting the aim monstrosity damage like that. So it's going to force me to get even more familiar with the numbers, but it's already fun too. We did a couple matchups where, like, there was like that matchup where I pressed the Sue ult. I was like, I thought with the offense down and the barrier that would like be the best way to keep Minerva alive right there. Like, I knew you were going to go after Minerva, but I thought that would keep you from killing her. So we took the exact same matchup and ran it back just to see, like, should I have played this differently? And I was like, let me try her special instead. I would have assumed her ult would protect someone better, but I guess her special actually will. Ran it back to the special, still lost that particular match, but definitely kept Minerva alive a lot longer. So it's literally been helping me learn to be an even better player in terms of like, oh, if I have to keep someone alive, the Zeus special is better protection than the ult. I wouldn't have guessed.
I end up using that sometimes just to kind of protect my Phoenix from getting cloned against Sinister in the arena. So yeah. Sometimes I use the ult, sometimes I use that special for Invisible Woman, and it really depends on the matchup.
It's great, and I am happy to say that I've took a good amount of matches. Generally, I've been charging people $10 per ass whooping, and because a lot of people are asking. And the only 2 people that I dropped any matches to all day today were the 2 people that work on the tier list with me. So that lets me know I picked the right people for the tier list.
Nice. All right, so it wouldn't be an update without bugs, but before we get to the bugs, let's talk about some of the fixes that happened in this one. The pop-up, that happened last patch. These pop-ups no longer overlapping in the game, so I think that is a good one. Any other stand out to you? There's a bunch here. You guys could read this on the blog post, but any big bug fixes stand out to you?
Let's see. A lot of text clarifications, so nothing too crazy. That Ant-Man one's actually been bugging me for a while, but that is how that one works.
Includes if you have missing information.
It's a 2-turn slow if Wasp is an ally. We've seen it for a while, and it was never in the ability description, but yeah, I mean, it's all good stuff. You know, pop-ups not overlapping is nice, but you know, I didn't hate them overlapping that much because I was just trying to rapidly close them anyway. So, you know. Good. Yeah.
All right, so that's what got fixed. And there may be more bugs, but I guess the big one is this one. Boom, right here. Huge. Investigating tech issues. iOS players experiencing technical issues, crashing over and over. Looks like there's going to be a new client tomorrow, perhaps before this news update gets released, but maybe afterwards. So this is a pretty big one. Now I play on iOS. I haven't experienced this firsthand, but yeah, if the game's crashing, you're not even able to get in or play any battles. That is a big bug. So.
That's exactly what's happening. iOS players, it's weird. Android players are fine. For a change, Android players are fine, but the iOS players, a handful of them, just like they can't do anything. Just like as soon as they try to battle, they crash. As soon as they like try to look at raid, they crash. Now there is a fix for it. My guess is by the time people are seeing this video, the new client will be out, and it'll just be download the new client and you'll be fine. But if you bind your account to Facebook, and you can make, if you're not on Facebook, just make a dummy Facebook. Bind your account to Facebook and/or Game Center, and if you uninstall and then reinstall, that fixed it for a lot of people. Didn't fix it for everyone, but it did fix it for a lot of people, so that's good.
I think we had to do that last patch too, when it would be constantly downloading the update files, and I think Cerebro was like, just uninstall your game and reinstall it, should be good, and it was. But yeah, I had to go. I guess something reset on my phone. I had to go through that whole tutorial again. I don't know why, but yeah, that is what happens sometimes. But yeah, this is a pretty big one. Any other bugs that you're aware of from this patch?
There is an interesting one, and it could just be like there was a misclick or a miscommunication with the server or something. So I'm hesitant to say this one for sure, but I thought I saw this a couple times, and then someone else independently said they saw it, which is there is obviously like a countdown timer to take a move in PvP, but there's been a few times where in the middle of the countdown clock, like very clearly in the middle, like when there's like 8 seconds left and it's still counting down. Yeah. An ability just goes. The AI just takes a turn for you.
Fun.
I had it happen a couple times, and again, it's possible there was just some weird lag, but I don't think I misclicked or anything. And it happened. Interestingly, it seems to be happening with Loki Special. It definitely happened to me with Loki Special. It definitely happened to one of my buddies.
Has it happened to you with Vision Special?
No, that usually requires a gem to click the wrong thing. But this one's been bad. Like one of them, it happened. I know I was in the middle of, like, I knew what I wanted to do, and I was in the middle of switching targets. And when I went to, like, I clicked to click the new target, and it just immediately fired the special at the original target when my mouse is like nowhere near the abilities. It's up like by the characters. And I know it was in the middle of the clock, so I don't know what's up with that. But the good news is, it's a for fun mode. So if it's like I didn't do that, like let's just have a rematch, whatever.
I mean, you're playing with friends. It's a game mode that you can only play with friends.
Most
right
people
now
are
anyway,
playing with friends. I'm playing with people trying to make $10 off me, but
wait, are you betting? Are you betting that you're going to beat them?
Something like that.
All right. You guys check out the stream if you wanted to get the exact details on what's going on their streams. All right, and my favorite part of new updates, not the bugs, it is these data mines, and we got a few of them just now. A couple new character images, Taskmaster, Ebony Maw, and oh, look at this guy.
Oh, it's Cerebro.
The rumors were true. Cerebro in the game.
Hell yeah.
Have you met Red Guardian, and you've met Shield Trooper. How many other characters are you going to meet, my friend?
I don't know. I'm excited to see who else.
A lot of them.
But yeah, I think Cerebro looks fantastic in that helmet.
So this was a rumor that was initially supposed to be in this patch, is what I heard. Then got pushed back to November along with that Black Widow movie. So there was no mention of a Black Widow rework. I'm assuming that also is going to be happening around the time of the movie as well. But we got a few other things. Actually, before we go on into some other things, any other thoughts on this Red Guardian? Because pretty big in my opinion.
No, I'm excited for him. I'm excited to see what kind of team they tie him into. I don't know if Taskmaster will be part of that team or what, but yeah, I'm interested to see what team him and Black Widow will share, or if they'll just be like a power couple that you can kind of plug and play with other teams. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe
Sniper and Soldier didn't get a huge rework because he was supposed to be the 5th member.
I don't think he's a mercenary, but all right.
Cull Obsidian. Information about Cull Obsidian coming to the game. Now, usually these happen a little bit. We get these data mines a little bit before they're announced in the game. So is this evidence that Cull Obsidian is actually in this update?
Again, it looks like that to me. I think we're getting all the characters, so that's how I'm interpreting it. So.
All right, well, Cull Obsidian, that is the first one right there. This is usually what they put up, some little blurbs about him. We get this in the game, and then usually his offers the following week. But I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Shout out to the trolls on my Discord server who did emoji reacts to spell out "ew Blitz."
Yeah, said Dwarf Star Blitz is what it's saying in the data mines right now for him. So and usually characters get a blitz as they're added to the game. This is a little different though. This is a little different data mine. This is usually when characters are right about to be released. So interesting. Next one, we got the same thing for Ironheart. Same kind of wording. And the Tech Prodigy Blitz featuring Ironheart and another ew Blitz in there.
Yep, another ew Blitz. And it is possible, by the way, because again, they do put that in even. Well, no, I guess, yeah. I mean, it's possible they put in these emails and they don't use them, but it looks like those are both emails that are going to go out announcing those characters are coming in Blitz. So.
Yeah, I mean, obviously both of these aren't coming very soon. It'd be either one or the other. Do you think this is just a place? Do you think this is just a placeholder for a yeah, the double blitzes, the tinfoil hat theories goes on. Guys.
They were data mined at the same time, man. Never say never.
That means their blitzes are coming at the same time, right? They're new experiments of doing new blitzes.
I mean, it's not completely out of the question.
All right, well, we will see. We will see. I guess that solves my next question. I was going to ask you if you think these are placeholders, but I guess the answer is 2 new blitzes coming.
Yeah, probably.
All right, and that is about it, unless you have anything else. There's a lot that went on this past week, including the updates and real-time PvP, and just the fallout from the last week's video. A lot of stuff happened there. Any final thoughts?
No, I can't wait to make some PvP content. We're gonna have to make some videos. People want a content creator tournament and stuff, and we'll have to do some themed duels. I've been talking about doing like Mystic only duels and City only duels, stuff like that. So yeah, we'll have to mess around, make some fun.
Certain meta teams versus other meta teams that usually aren't matched up with each other. See what happens with that. So yeah, maybe we could do something on like a weekly basis. The matchup of the week. Something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, let us know in the comments below.
It needs work, but it's something like that. All right, let everybody know where they can find you, my friend.
I have been streaming on YouTube, youtube.com/Khasino. And yeah, I've been streaming around 6 p.m. Pacific time every day. So come check it out.
Every day, Saturdays and Sundays included?
Yep.
Okay, and double on Twitch or still no Twitch?
I have not been doing Twitch lately, but we'll see because long story short, I had some internet service provider issues, and I almost swapped to Twitch. So we'll see. We'll see.
All right. Well, links are down below, guys, and thank you guys once again for watching this video. If you're listening on the podcast, please leave us a 5-star review, guys. It helps out the podcast. And thank you guys for watching this on YouTube. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, smash on that like button, guys. Smash on that subscribe button and ring that bell. Join the notification squad every single week. It is more than a year now. We've been doing this every single week without fail. Plus, also on this channel, at least minimum 4 Marvel Strike Force videos per week on this channel, and it's usually a lot more than that. Maybe not a lot more, but more than that. And yeah, with that said, I will see you guys next time. Check out some of the links down below that support the channel. Check me out on social media. And before you go, Khasino, give me a Hulk fist bump. Where's my, there I got, all right. Hulk fist bump, ValleyFlyin and Khasino